Running back rankings, week 12, top 40 running backs, presented by irvinandm.com. Expect more videos later every week for the other unit groupings, like wide receiver, quarterback, and tight end, and you can just click the playlist in the top right so you don't miss any of those videos. Between industry-leading data, Vegas sports books, and expert analysis, we provide optimal, data-driven weekly rankings before setting your redraft lineups. 40 backs, and you see the tiers, all right? Pay attention to the yardage and props, all right? Basically, the first 20 you're pretty happy about, and the last 20 you're not. We've got 8 backs going for 100 yards or more in week 12, and it's Jahmyr Gibbs, 100 over-under, 107 yards per game, and he scores 100% of the time, and he faces the Giants, 30th worst. So, I think he's going to pop off. Probably is. CMC, 121 over-under, 131 yards per game. He also scores 100% of the time. He's going against his old team. And if you thought he wasn't going to keep doing what he does every single week, you'd be wrong. Jonathan Taylor, 110 over-under, 140 yards per game, 1.7 touchdowns per game. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the only reason he's not ahead of both of these guys is because he faces Kansas City's 9th best. Bijan Robinson, 130 over-under, 129 yards per game, 0.6 touchdowns per game. Going against the Saints, they're going to need him big time. Treveyon Henderson, 101 yards in his last 4 starts and 1.25 tuggies. He gets Cincinnati's 32nd worst, the worst run defense in the whole league. So, if you thought he was going to be slowing down, he's not. Javonte Williams, 76 over-under, 90 yards per game, 0.9 touchdowns per game. And if you ask yourself, why is it not bigger than that? Why is it not better than that? Because he faces Philly. And it's going to be a gruesome game, even though they're not that good at stopping the run. Rico Dowdle, 98 over-under, 94 yards per game, 0.5 touchdowns per game. Not really worried about San Francisco's 12th best, right? And James Cook III, 92 over-under, 97 yards per game, 0.8 touchdowns per game, but he faces Houston, who's held CMC. Derrick Henry, Etienne, twice, 250 rushing yards or less. So he'll have to catch some passes and get some receiving yards in this one, which he should be fun to do. Just don't expect him to, have his way with the 3rd best run defense. It's going to be a bruiser. But it doesn't matter because that is the top 8 running backs for week 12, and you're not worried about these guys, to say the least. A tier begins with the rest of the elite running backs. We have 8 more. They're set for 80 to 90 yards. That's the 80s. And it's Saquon Barkley. And listen, if he was doing better, he'd be an A tier. But he scores 0.2 touchdowns per game. All right? So you have to be happy with 92 over-under and 87 yards per game. Even against Dallas's 24th worst, 0.2 touchdowns per game is not it, brother. Not it. Derrick Henry, 96 over-under, 88 yards per game, 0.7 touchdowns per game. While the Jets were a feared defense, not as much now, right? They're the 23rd. They're 23rd against the run, and Henry should have no issues and be asked to carry many times. Kyren Williams, 75 over-under, 93 yards per game, 0.9 touchdowns per game. But clearly Vegas thinks the easiest path is through the air rather than hand it off against Tampa's 10th best run D. Rams should remain in positive game script, though, but I'd expect Stafford to throw 3 more touchdowns before Williams gets 20 carries. He's still going to go crazy. Chase Brown, 84 over-under, 75 yards per game, but 111 in his last 4 games with Flacco. It's as bad as it gets for an opponent. The Bengals are set to lose by a whole touchdown at home against the number 1 run defense. So hopefully he can get enough receptions, like he should, to stay in it. Etienne, 70 over-under, 86 yards per game, 0.6 touchdowns per game. He's been playing well, but with Tootin, he doesn't get everything served to him like he used to. So don't expect 100 yards even facing the league average Cardinals front 7. Not bad. Not bad. Woody Marks, you want to talk about a great matchup, but doomed to negative game script. Houston set to lose by just 5 points thanks to their defense, but this is going to be an uphill battle with the charge being led by Woody Marks. The 80 over-under and the 35 and 90-yard game splits continue. All right? Buffalo is practically the worst in the league at stopping opposing running backs at 31. This is as excited as we can be, unfortunately. Judkins, 78 yards per game, but a devastating string of games in the past 5 weeks. I think it's pretty simple. Anybody but Dylan Gabriel, the offense functions, right? Judkins gets 113 yards per game, but Dylan Gabriel in
area unlimited.
Listen, don't be mad at me. I just purvey the data, right? Should be excited to start him against the Raiders, but you really can't be because Shedeur Sanders probably not going to be much better, given the Browns are
area.
So, peep the defense vid in the playlist to see what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's Ashton Jeanty, 72 yards per game, 72 over under, and he suffers the same exact fate. Barely functioning offense, immensely talented back, but just cucked by his team. Judkins and Jeanty both should be heavily featured, albeit in this unwatchable, low scoring game. All right? That's the top 16. They run the most. They catch the most. They score the most. We're still missing some big names. Let's keep it going. All right? B tier. We're going to kick it off. IrvinandM.com is my company my best friend and I started in 2020. We literally make everything ourselves by hand. We have earrings, rings, necklaces, bracelets, tie clips, apparel, and more. Over a dozen curated gemstones and 100 handcrafted products. If you need a gift or something special for yourself, use the promo code in the description. Find something you love. Buy it today. Back to the video. Did I get you? Always hope I get you. All right, support me, support you. You can shop at my store. You can buy a hat or a t-shirt or some jewelry like what I've got on, for God's sakes. But if you don't like spending money, you don't like to look your best, then you can just subscribe for free. All right, B tier is the 70s. That's 70 to 80 total yards. And there's 8 backs once again. It's DeAndre Swift starting it off, 75 over under, 94 yards per game, 0.1 touchdowns per game. Brother, expect Kyle Monangai to keep stealing them. All right, and your only way that Swift is getting there every week are with yards and receptions, which he'll probably get. You know, if he scored, he'd be an A tier, but he'll be fine. But it could be better. Jaylen Warren, other side of the ball from Swift. Warren's apparently healthy and sending it against the Bears, 25th worst run D. So 80 over under, 84 yards per game, 0.3 touchdowns per game. That's the only thing that sucks. All right. Breece Hall, 80 over under, in spite of 95 yards per game. It's only 0.3 touchdowns per game. All right. The Jets are terrible. They're terrible. They're so bad. It hurts his fantasy upside immensely. It makes him very scary to start every single week. If he scored, he'd be an A tier, but his team is just set to lose by 14 points. All right. Let that sink in. Aaron Jones, 83 total yards in his 3 full starts from injury return, 0.3 touchdowns as well. And he faces a stout 7th best run defense in Green Bay, set to lose 18-24. So if you see the theme here, negative game script and no touchdowns is bad. Positive game script and touchdowns is good. And this is where we're at. This is the turning point, right? KW3, 68 over under, 74 yards per game, and 111 in week 11 against the Rams, even a touchdown. But so far this season, that has just not been the case. He's not a 3-down back anymore. And even though he balled out, you know, got Zach Charbonnet back there. Emanual Wilson. And listen, I don't have a picture yet. He hasn't earned it. That's just the truth. 60 to 70 yards, a coin flip touchdown. That's realistic. That's optimistic. Even against Minnesota's below league average, run D in this low scoring game with the Packers set to win, he should be higher, but he hasn't shown a reason to be. Kareem Hunt. And just like that, it's not even 60 over under, 62 yards per game. And, a score, it could save him. And it probably could. It's a coin flip, but it's tough sledding against the Colts' 5th best run defense. It would make a lot more sense for Mahomes to, throw it through the air and win that way. And David Montgomery, listen, in years past, Monty, he'd be flirting with, he'd be in B tier, flirting with A tier. But this season, this is as good as it gets. Bottom 30 run defenses to run against, and you're set for 49 yards by Vegas, with 49 yards per game in average and half a touchdown. So it's a crime, but he's still in jail. Free demo. That's the truth. That's the top 24. C tier is the 50s. It's a big step down. All right. 50 to 60 yards, down from 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 100 or more. So And it's Alvin Kamara, man. And listen, I don't care that he had 115 yards in his divisional Week 10 game. All right, this is another divisional game. And even though the Falcons are 28th against the run, and you want them to run against them, Kamara is still only set for 70 yards in this game. So either go bet all your money that he's going to get 100 yards and go crazy again, or play him out of desperation, because this is last call to me. Tyrone Tracy Jr., listen, he got 19 carries and 140 yards. And if they're smart, they're going to keep doing that. But this week, it's Detroit's 8th best front seven. And they're set to lose by 14 points. All right, so 53 yards per game, 0.1 touchdowns. Not what we want. Shad White, Sean Tucker. I mean, the upside is sucked away, passed to Tucker, while White's relocated to, KW3 or something at best. I mean, we'll have to see what happens. It's tough sledding this week, though. And Tucker, I mean, he got 19 carries, but that's once. That's once. I know it was last week, but he's been on the team a long time. We need more data. We need more time. And, if I was facing the Rams rush D, I would just pass the ball a lot instead of trying to run it down their throats. Probably not a good idea. So, Zach Charbonnet, 40 over under, 46 yards per game, but he steals all the touchdowns at 0.7 per game. So somebody should eat against the Titans, and it's probably going to be JSN. Let's be honest, all right? Because Walker, he just gets yards and pink lips. He only gets, called on in the red zone. Kenneth Gainwell, Warren's going. Gainwell, Will's not going to get 100 yards and 19 carries again. Not while Warren's around. So it's 50 yards, 40 yards, coin flip touchdown. That's what you should expect. That's what you should hope for. Bam, Zonovan Knight, is it better than Michael Carter? Yeah, I think it is. Are you excited about him going up against the Jags' number 2 run defense? Of course you're not, which is why Brissett is going to throw for 400 yards to Greg Dortch and Michael Wilson and not Bam Knight. Tajay Spears against Seattle's 6th best. And, it's Tony Pollard. We'll just usher it right in. It's the bridge to our demise, boys. From here, it's whatever's left to the bitter, bitter end. Titans backfield, they could net you 40 to 50 yards, and that's about it, especially facing the Seahawks. And it's 50 yards or less. All right, essentially. Tyler Allgeier, maybe 10, 12 fantasy points. Kyle Monangai, kind of the same thing. He scores, so maybe he gets 8, maybe 13 fantasy points if you're lucky at best. And if you wanted to pray for a touchdown with these guys over the Titans backfield, I don't blame you over some of these guys, right? Blake Corum, 30 to 50 yards, no touchdown. Devin Singletary, no picture, not interested. Jordan Mason, not interested. Jordan Mason, not interested. Brian Robinson, nope. Not even against the Bills. Recap. That's your top running backs for Week 12. Look it over and ask me questions in the comments. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you see all the videos each week before you submit your lineups. It's free, so it's a good value. If you like to look your best, you like to spend money, use the promo code and spend it in my store. And watch some more videos.